Last night, in the members-only section of Timcast IRL, one of our members brought up to us that there's an event called Music Fest taking place in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Now, we here are big fans of Yuengling beer. When the Bud Light controversy started, Yuengling posted this picture of someone holding a beer with an American flag, and Yuengling is quite delicious. But they pointed out to us that Yuengling is sponsoring a drag show that allows babies. That's right. This is a very interesting story. The tweet in question read from Music Fest, need your drag fix before our iconic Music Fest drag show? Well, the Queens return to Music Fest Cafe presented by Yuengling on June 30th. Close out Pride Month with a fierce show. Ladies and gentlemen, the tweet has been deleted. Yeah, no joke. This is, wow. So in response to this information being presented to us, I wanted to fact check. I said, this can't be right. Is Yuengling really sponsoring a drag show that allows babies? So sure enough, I pulled up the actual information. So this is a Music Fest website, Arts Quest ticket policy, and it says all persons entering a venue, including babies in arms, must have a ticket. And it says attendance of children under 2 may not be recommended for some performances. My understanding is that checking this website, I don't see anything barring anyone based on age, just a recommendation. Now, according to our member, they contacted Music Fest, who said 13 and up for the drag show. I don't know if that's true. We haven't reached out to Music Fest as of yet. But I do think the big and very interesting thing here is they deleted the tweet. So I was planning on doing maybe a shorter segment about this, but considering the impact and considering that we are halfway through what they call Pride Month and everyone is disavowing, I assume this to be a disavowal. I don't know exactly why. I'm wondering if Yuengling reached out and said, take this down. We did not sponsor this. As many people have pointed out to us, Yuengling didn't sponsor the drag show. They sponsor the venue. What the venue does, they just put their name on the venue. Still, I don't think that absolves you of all responsibility, Yuengling. If the events that are taking place in there bear your name, then I think you need to say something about this. Now, this is what's interesting. So this was the original tweet. I said, a drag show that allows babies. Cassandra McDonald says, WTF Yuengling beer. But the big news now is that when you try and pull up Music Fest's tweet, what do you get? Sorry, that tweet has been deleted. Wow. You want to talk about winning the culture war? This is something else. It's Starbucks, now Music Fest. Everyone is trying to disavow their association to the targeting of children. Everybody knows just what the Bud Light effect means. We don't care, for the most part. I know conservatives more so do. But me, as you know, a traditional liberal, I don't care if a guy wants to dress up like a woman and go parade around on stage and do gay burlesque. In fact, I'm happy you have your space where you can do your thing. I'm fairly liberal. But don't allow children. It's not appropriate for kids. Adult entertainment, not for kids. Now I wonder about the laws in Pennsylvania. I don't know for sure, but this just looks like more victory. And I got no beef with Yuengling. Still a fan. And that was the big question. Are you going to support Yuengling after seeing that they've done this? Because it says right here, look at this. The Queens return to Music Fest Cafe presented by Yuengling. And they allow babies, anyone, children, into these events. I don't think Yuengling was aware of what was going on. I think that they're actually only sponsoring the venue. I think that's all true. And I think this takedown was likely because they said, hey, no way. No way. So that's the big news right there. Of course, the Bud Light fiasco is still ongoing, and the media is desperate to try and cover up what's really going on. So let me just say to all of you, my friends, this seems to be a tremendous victory. It's not just about this one music festival or whatever it is they're doing or whatever it may be, because I only asked the question because I don't know for sure exactly what their plans were. But the fact that they deleted the tweet, wow. I believe the tweet was put up like a week or so ago. And so they've taken it down probably because Yuengling is already facing a backlash. Here's what I request. because we're fans of Yuengling. We do not put them in the same category as Bud Light. Some people have pointed out that Yuengling has done Pride ads before. I personally don't care about that. I care about the targeting of kids, more so. I do believe it all overlaps, and now the boundaries are being pushed. But Dylan Mulvaney was overtly targeting children. I mean, you see these videos, Eloise and playing with dolls. TikTok's audience is under 21. The idea that Bud Light would try and do a promotional sponsorship to someone whose audience is under the legal drinking age, they're targeting your kids, man, with alcohol, lewd and lascivious behavior, etc. So I'd like to see Yuengling make a statement. What was this all about? You can simply say, we sponsor a venue. We have nothing to do with the events that take place at that venue. There you go. Here's what I think. I think they're going to say nothing, because PR 101 is to shut your mouth and say nothing. Here's the current. Here's how the tweet currently looks. I was getting ready to produce a segment. I was actually going to do this one probably for like 4. And then I saw the tweet was deleted by the author. The tweet was deleted by the author. Music Fest has deleted the tweet. That doesn't mean the event is over. The event is likely still taking place. They're just concerned about a backlash for allowing babies and children at a drag show. So I have questions. But this is the current state of things, I suppose. So I'm glad we were able to still pull that up. But of course, my friends, the lie persists. The media is desperate to do away with the Bud Light effect, but there's nothing they can do about it. Major corporations are reacting to what's happening politically, and they're stepping back. The media, of course, is more activist-based, and they're trying to maintain the lies and the narrative. The Washington Post tweeted this. Bud Light has been targeted by a recent boycott, but consumers might be moving away from the brand anyway amid stagnation for domestic beer in general. This is the most obvious and brazen lie. It's amazing. So, my friends, I hope you are all taking a look at what's going on with the deletion of the tweet, with Target hiding the merchandise, with the stock price tanking. We are winning. What is the purpose of this lie? First, let me explain. Molson Coors, Coors Light, and Miller, they've skyrocketed in sales. Domestic beer is stagnating. No, actually, Miller and Coors are skyrocketing. Try again. Modelo, as sold in the U.S., is actually owned by a U.S. company. So try again. You see, what's happening is these people in the Washington Post, these are psychotic cultists, and they're angry. How dare you defy our narrative? So they're going to lie about it. But you can't lie about money. I mean, you can lie about money, but you can't lie about people not spending it. Okay, well, you can lie about it. I guess what I'm trying to say is you can lie all you want. It won't change what people are doing. There you go. So what's happening? Regular people have had enough. They don't want to buy these products. They're not buying these products. You can have all the ESG in the world, but if your business can't sell a product, the loans are meaningless. And this is the argument a lot of people made. They said the point of ESG is that if these companies do not have a good ESG or CEI index score, I think it's redundant, as a CEI score, then they can't get loans. And if they can't get loans, they can't expand their business. You know what else hurts a business? No customers. So when Bud Light loses 30% of its market share and is toppled by Modelo, which in the U.S. is owned by Constellation Brands, not by Anheuser-Busch, well then, I think ESG is out the window. But of course, the people in media who are funded, they can't let it go. They have to fight tooth and nail to maintain the lie and just try and figure out how to keep companies in line. Here's the reality. Wake up call, Yuengling and every other company. If you embrace and sponsor, fund, support the targeting of children, we don't buy your products. Now, I'm a bit agnostic as it is on Yuengling. I don't know what this is all about. So I don't want to say outright I'm going to boycott Yuengling. I'm not a big drinker as it is, so I don't really drink a lot. But I have had a couple Yuengling beers in the past couple of months. And when we go out, typically it's the only thing we order. We're big fans. But I'm a little confused right now. I mean, they took the tweet down. Who took the tweet down? Does Yuengling know about this? Maybe they don't even know about it. Maybe they sponsored a venue. Maybe Music Fest deleted the tweet because they're concerned if Yuengling finds out, they're gonna pull their sponsorship of the venue. Maybe they should pull their sponsorship. What say you, Yuengling? Do you support your name being attached to an all-ages drag performance, a lewd adult performance? We just saw the President of the United States, his administration, denounce and ban activists who are engaging in lewd and lascivious behaviors at the White House. Even the Democrats agree. How about that? Maybe not all of them. But the White House said this is not appropriate. Not appropriate. Do you think it's appropriate, Yuengling? I'm a big fan. I would love nothing more than for Yuengling to come out and be like, we do not want to be involved in this. We did not support this, and we're pulling our sponsorship. I'll tell you this. If Yuengling came out and just said, guys, we had nothing to do with this, I'd say, don't worry about it, man. I am a reasonable person. I don't expect them to be involved in every single thing. And it looks like they only sponsored the venue, not the event. However, if Yuengling comes out and says, not only did we have nothing to do with this, we are appalled, we are pulling our name and sponsorship from this venue, I'll go out and buy out the entire supply of Yuengling from the local liquor store. I'll buy it all, because that is a powerful statement. But I'm not trying to be a dick and be unreasonable. Okay, I run a company. Some people come to me and say like, oh, what about this thing? It's like, dude, we had nothing to do with that, right? Nothing to do with that. I can understand if you're a massive brand, you've got a lot of sponsorships, you do a bunch of PR, and then someone somewhere down the line may do something bad. I'm not going to blame you for it. Let's pull up this story from the Washington Post so I can talk to you how they're trying to manipulate the narrative. Bud Light has been targeted by a recent boycott, but consumers might be moving away amid stagnation for domestic beer in general. Even amid fallout prompted by a Bud Light advertisement featuring a transgender influencer, Anheuser-Busch InBev was confident in May that Bud Light was still America's top-selling brand, a title it has held for more than 2 decades. But a recently released analysis of the beer brand's sales numbers suggest that reign might be in jeopardy. Might be? Just stop, dude. Bro, who is this author? Julian Mark? You are so sad in your desperate attempts. We've had the numbers for weeks, okay? I already covered the story. Modelo is the top-selling beer. Everybody's running the story, except you apparently, but keep trying to lie. In May, sales of Modelo Especial, the Mexican beer brand, outpaced the longtime leader as AB InBev grapples with a wave of cultural backlash. In the 4 weeks leading up to May 20th, Modelo Especial claimed the highest share of U.S. sales at 8.6%, compared with Bud Light at 7.6%. That is a turnaround from the 4 weeks leading up to March 25th, when Bud Light claimed 10% to Modelo's 7.7%. So when you say it may be in jeopardy, its reign might be in jeopardy, calm down, good sir. Because I can respect that at least after the fact you admitted Modelo already outsold Bud Light. And you'd think 2.5 months on, we're not talking about something short term. We're talking about a major brand shift. It happened. The backlash to Mulvaney included a conservative boycott of Bud Light. Customers angry with the partnership have filmed themselves destroying cans of Bud Light. Some liberal customers, meanwhile, grew angry with the brewer for failing to stick up for Mulvaney. AB InBev did not immediately respond to a request for comment. While recent events may have affected Bud Light sales, broad market trends were favoring Modelo even before the Mulvaney controversy. Dave Williams, vice president of analytics and insights at Bump Williams, told the Washington Post in an email, consumers might be moving away from Bud Light because expanding the customer base for U.S. domestic beer continues to be a struggle for brewers. Asked whether Cinco de Mayo, the Mexican holiday, contributed. Amazing. They're trying so hard. Modelo has been on a steady rise for a long stretch now. I mean, Modelo is pretty good. And while holiday-timed executions can lead to some lift in sales, they continue to perform after Cinco de Mayo just as well. In recent years, Modelo and other Mexican beer have a growing presence in the U.S. According to a Post analysis, about 80% of America's beer imports are from Mexico, up 17%. Blah, 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 blah. Let's break it down, my friend. It is simple. Miller and Coors are going up, up, up. Bud Light is going down, down, down. And Modelo has taken the number 1 spot. That's not a coincidence. It's all connected. So no, this is not an issue of, well, domestic beers are failing. No, they're not. Miller and Coors are skyrocketing. What are you talking about? And you can say, like, across the board, they should be doing better or something like that, but you can't measure that right now. If Miller and Coors are skyrocketing, because of this anomalous event, we don't know to what degree a stagnation of domestic sales really is having an impact. It actually may be boosting domestic sales. This may be reversing whatever trend you may have thought you saw. The reality? They're desperate. The Bud Light effect is palpable, it's real, and it's terrifying to these customers. So much so that Music Fest deleted their tweet promoting a drag show for babies. I'm sorry, a drag show allowing babies. They are panicking. So I'll make sure that I will scream it from the top of the mountains that these companies do this stuff. And I'll say it again. I don't care if you have a drag show. In fact, I hope you have more drag shows. In fact, I offered to put on a drag show. Surprisingly, didn't get any interest from anybody. Yeah, Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks said that if he had the money, he'd put on the biggest drag show ever, just to stick it to the right. And I said, what do you mean if you had the money? You're a millionaire. It's not going to cost that much money to put on a drag show. So how about this? I'll put on a drag show. It'll be great. We'll get a bunch of drag queens. We'll get a bunch of prominent LGBT personalities, people to come and speak about their thoughts on the matter and whatever their opinion may be, left or right, I don't care, and we'll have free food and drinks. 21 and up, of course, because, the alcohol, not appropriate for kids. I don't care what these adults are doing at private venues. I don't appreciate them going out in public and doing kink and BDSM displays. I don't appreciate the Pride event in West Hollywood where two adult men performed a sex act on each other in front of children. That should be, it is illegal, but it's not like anyone's going to go do anything about it down there because the cops are cowards. Or the cops agree with it. That really is, to be completely honest. I hate to be the bearer of bad news to all the Back to Blue people, but I got to tell you, when you see these videos of adult men performing sex acts on each other in public, I just got to tell you, the cops support it. The police support it. That's it. It's already illegal to do these things. The police support it. The cops like it. I'm not saying every single cop. I'm not saying every jurisdiction. I'm saying in these places, when y'all are like, back to blue, baby. I don't care. I'm at this point where I'm like, it does suck that these cities are falling apart. I think we need federal intervention in places like San Francisco. But I got to tell you, if they're defunding police in Los Angeles, good. These are cops who appreciate and support and defend adult men performing sex acts on each other in public. That's the LAPD. So I don't care if they get defunded. Good. Get rid of them. You know what we need? Donald Trump needs to get elected, and then federal law enforcement should do its job. And what is its job? To uphold the rights of citizens in this country. If crimes are being committed and the police will not uphold them because the cops like the crime, then federal law enforcement should go in and enforce the law. Now, the unfortunate reality is that inches us towards a federalized nation. I'm not a big fan of that. A lot of conservatives and libertarians make the argument that California should be able to do whatever they want. I do not think we should sit back and let our cities just be destroyed. Now, I know you may be saying, but Tim, you're saying get out of cities. Fair point. No. And then when the Daniel Penny thing happened and I said, well, you reap what you sow, you live in these cities. I had a lot of comments from people. There was a super chat where someone said, we cannot let them destroy once great American cities. Just let them win. And I said, you're right, actually. So I donated to Penny. And I think this changed my view a little bit. A little bit. I still think it's appropriate to get away from cities, short-term gains. But we also want to make sure that we keep the culture war fights in these cities, these battles, these cultural shifts. And that means we should be prioritizing and funding legislative battles and legal battles in winning these cities back. So if Donald Trump is elected, federal law enforcement should go into these cities and just start enforcing the law. What's that? Two nude men are performing sex acts in front of children. Well, they weren't both nude. They were wearing BDSM gear. Okay, well, you go in, you stop the float, you say, you're under arrest. End of story. Who has the bravery to do such a thing? I don't know. I can tell you, though, if Donald Trump gets elected and puts out a call for officers to enforce the law, he'll find a lot of really good people who want to save this country from the lewd and lascivious behaviors, from the corruption that they even know is wrong. They deleted the tweet. They fear something. Let me put it this way. If the overwhelming majority of people in this country say you are doing something evil, and you argue, no, I'm not, I'm right, then I believe you genuinely think you're right. When you try to hide the thing you did, now I can only assume that you don't believe what you're doing is good. Let me put it this way. The founding fathers wrote their beliefs and shared them far and wide. They used pseudonyms. Why? They were afraid of reprisal and action from the crown. I can certainly understand that. Anonymity is a powerful thing. But they made sure everyone knew those views, and they spread that around far and wide. I don't know who posted this tweet, but they deleted it because they know it's wrong. They could easily put out a statement saying, we agree and support with and support the right for these things to happen. No one knows who did, but they're scared. They're scared that the majority, that most people in this country do not want their kids being targeted and think this is inappropriate, and they're worried it will cause them financial harm. Imagine sacrificing your worldview for money. There's a lot of people who have no worldview. They have no moral framework. They just want money. And this exemplifies it. Congratulations. Would love to hear a response, Yuengling, as to what this was all about. But either way, it got taken down. Now I'm curious if the event is still happening and what their age restrictions will be. We'll reach out. We'll follow up on the story and see where we're at, but I'll leave it there for now. Next segment is coming up at 4 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.